There are 200 million adults in the US. If you steal a dime from each adult's bank account, no individual would notice. You'd have $20 million and retire happily. That is, until the banks notice and have you arrested. You need to be smarter, so enter the S&P 500 index. The S&P 500 is a basket containing the top 500 public companies in the US, such as Microsoft, Google, Walmart, or Bank of America. If you're a company in the S&P 500 index, anytime someone buys shares of the S&P 500, they buy shares of your company along with 499 other companies. Warren Buffett bet $1 million that no hedge fund can beat the S&P 500 over 10 years after fees. You won that bet, and most people today recommend blindly buying the S&P 500 index versus picking your own stocks. An unintended consequence is the S&P 500 index becomes a conduit for stealing a little bit of money from everyone blindly buying it. I'm not talking about founding a company, doing a lot of innovation, getting it into the index, and then committing fraud. No point in scamming people if you've already done the hard work. The backdoor get-rich-quick scheme is to make an AI startup and convince S&P 500 companies to invest in or acquire you. One recent blow-up was Builder.ai. They had vague claims about making the software development process more efficient by applying AI. If you gave me their wishy-washy rundown, I'd definitely be skeptical as to what their AI could possibly do to justify their $1.5 billion valuation. But none of the investors bothered to understand how AI could possibly back up their grossly overinflated revenue. By the time the fraud got exposed, it was too late. $450 million investor dollars gone. Microsoft, which is part of the S&P 500, also lost a large investment. Any investor in the S&P 500, which probably includes you, indirectly contributed to some $20 million the Builder.ai CEO legally ran off with from selling his shares. He can retire happily now or do another scam. It's not hard to trick employees at large public companies to invest in a fraudulent startup. 1. The people deciding the investments often aren't technical enough to understand the details of the startup. 2. The decision-makers aren't staking their money, so they're indifferent anyways. And 3. They might even get bonuses for great work in deal-making and exit the firm well before the scam gets exposed. As AI gets more and more overhyped, companies are pressured to get involved in AI as much as possible to satisfy short-term investor sentiment. Builder.ai is a prime example where they offered AI something, and Microsoft didn't ask questions because they and their investors wanted AI anything. As the pot of money pouring into AI grows, scams like Builder.ai will become way more common. I want to highlight that Microsoft has brilliant teams focused on AI research and still lost millions of dollars to an AI scam. That's like a police station getting robbed. And then what hope is left for an average person without a computer science degree? How about our non-technical government officials deciding what AI projects should get billions in funding? We are headed towards a crisis where people have no idea what AI can and can't do because they don't understand how it works. So I hope you'll help spread the word about this channel so more people can become aware.